Hey everyone, it's Intel here. So this video is going to be a review on the HyperX Pulsefire Haste, which is now, in my opinion, one of the best mice for Minecraft in general. I've been using this mouse for about 3 weeks now, and when I first got it, I didn't really have high expectations because HyperX isn't exactly known to be a gaming mouse brand. But this mouse absolutely blew my mind. It is so good. It can pretty much do every single clicking method like the glorious Model O, and it just has so much value. Before we get into the video, I do want to say really quickly that if you did enjoy this video or you found it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you considered leaving a like or possibly subscribing if you do like my content. But anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Okay, so let's start off with the unboxing. So I bought this mouse off of Amazon for $50, which is the same price as the Model O, and that's a comparison that I'm going to be making a lot in this video, by the way. The box was a little roughed up, but the mouse itself was fine. So in the box, you get the mouse itself, some paperwork, and included grip tape and extra mouse feet. And I just want to say really quickly that the fact that this mouse includes grip tape with it in the box is really, really nice. And the grip tape actually feels really nice. It's definitely a lot better than just putting electrical tape on your mouse. The material that most of the mouse is made out of is this uncoated plastic. It actually feels really nice in the hand. It's not that good for drag clicking, but once again, that really doesn't matter because the mouse includes grip tape in the box that does make it super easy to drag click with. So you can essentially drag click with this mouse right out of the box if you just apply the grip tape that it comes with. The next thing I want to talk about is the build quality of this mouse, and the build quality is absolutely insane. The mouse doesn't creak or flex at all. Once again, the plastic on the mouse feels really nice and really high quality. The Pulsefire Haste uses a really flexible stock cable. It's probably one of the most flexible stock cables I've tried. It's basically the same as a paracord and you don't feel it at all when you're playing. The mouse feet are white PTFE and they actually glide really well on my Artisan Heian mouse pad. And usually with most gaming mice that I buy, I tend to replace the mouse feet on them because the stock feet on a lot of gaming mice are just trash, but the stock feet on this mouse are actually pretty nice, and the fact that it comes with another set of feet is really nice. The mouse buttons are very interesting. So this mouse uses TTC gold switches, unlike most mice which use Omron 20Ms or Omron 50Ms for their mouse switches. Omron 20Ms are the same mouse switches that you'll find on something like the G Pro Wireless, which is my personal favorite mouse. And typically I'd say that they're really good for Minecraft PvP because they're super light and super spammable. However, they're not that tactile, so a lot of people typically complain that they don't feel as crisp as other mouse switch alternatives. The TTC gold switches I'd say have a medium weight to them, so they're not super light, but they're also not extremely heavy. But they definitely feel a little bit more tactile and a little bit more snappy than the Omron 20Ms on my G Pro Wireless Superlight. I'll do a quick sound test so you guys can hear how the TTC gold switches sound. What really surprises me is how premium the clicks feel. There's basically no wobble on the clicks at all. There's no pre or post travel either, and it just feels really nice. Overall, the build quality of this mouse is absolutely insane. It's definitely up there with the Viper Mini in terms of build quality. It just feels super premium. The only complaint I'd have with the build quality is with the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel steps aren't really that defined. It feels sort of just mushy to scroll on. For people who use their scroll wheel to hotkey or to scroll rod, then I personally think that there's better scroll wheels on other mice, but honestly, it's not that bad. The next thing I want to talk about is the shape. So I know a lot of people are probably going to look at this mouse and compare it to the glorious Model O because they do look quite similar, but the shapes are different, and unfortunately I don't have a Model O or Model O Wireless to compare it with. I had a Model O Wireless, but I gave it to my IRL friend who just got into PC gaming. I do have a Model O Minus though that I can compare it to, but just know that the Model O Minus is obviously going to be smaller. The Pulsefire Haste isn't as flat as the Model O. While the Model O barely has any hump at the back, the Pulsefire Haste does have a little bit of a hump to it, so it's a little bit taller than the Model O. It's not as rounded as something like the G Pro Wireless, where the hump on the G Pro Wireless sort of fills up your whole hand. I personally didn't like how flat the Model O was, so this definitely feels a little bit better to me. The second difference from the glorious Model O are the sides of the mouse. So the sides on the Model O aren't really that flat. They sort of curve a bit and they're tapered inward. I personally don't really like when mice do this because the way that I grip my mouse while I jitter click, usually my fingers don't tend to follow the comfort grooves that are on the mouse. The sides of the Pulsefire Haste are mostly flat. There isn't really any curving to them. And personally for me, this makes the mouse feel a lot more comfortable when I grip it compared to the Model O. Overall, for PvP, I'd say for most people, this is going to be a pretty comfortable shape. So as I alluded to from the start, this mouse can double click and drag click. Double clicking on this mouse was extremely easy. In fact, you can see from the footage on screen that I was able to get this mouse to triple click pretty easily as well. While drag clicking on this mouse with the included grip tape, I was able to get upwards of 20 CPS, which I think for most people is enough to god bridge and to reduce. Overall, for jitter clicking, butterfly clicking, and drag clicking, I think this mouse is good for all three clicking methods. The only concern that I have is that this mouse does not have an adjustable debounce time in its software. I really wish HyperX did this, and I'm sort of concerned that in the future they're going to remove the ability to double click with like a firmware update or something, or release newer batches of the mouse that don't double click. But it seems like everyone who I know who has this mouse can double click and can drag click with it, so I think it's safe enough to recommend to most people who want to double click or drag click. Okay, so in conclusion, this mouse is $50, which is the exact same price as the Model O, but unlike the Model O, this mouse has included grip tape, it has much better build quality, and it has a slightly better shape, but that's something that's more subjective. Overall, I think this mouse is just a way better value than the Model O, and I think it definitely deserves the position as one of the best mice for Minecraft PvP. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the review. So the rest of this video is going to be some Bedwars highlights that I got using the Pulsefire Haste, some mouse and keyboard sounds. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really do appreciate it, especially if you made it to the end of the video, it does mean a lot to me. But with that being said, thank you guys once again for watching, and I will see you later. Peace out.
No way.